Well, good day, ladies and gentlemen, my dear friends of mine, my phenomenal followers. I hope you are having an absolute phenomenal day today. A blessed day filled with happiness, joy, and motivating thoughts that are inspiring you to press on today. I want to thank my followers for following this channel. I want to thank the folks who've looked at this channel. I want to thank you for checking it out. I want to thank my friends and family for being such a phenomenal support to me in my life. And last but not least, I want to thank everybody who has motivated me to make life such a beautiful thing. Today I'm very inspired. I worked today. I was at work early, and I had a lot of time to think. I was thinking a lot down the line of something that is so precious to me, and that is having forgiveness. Oh, today I was looking back at my life. I was looking at all the times I had hatred toward my father growing up, because of things he had done to us as a family, things he had said. There was unforgiveness that became hatred. And I can honestly tell you today, back in those years, I hated my dad with a passion. And those are very harsh words. I just cannot stand the word hate. But I want to share with you how I was able to forgive him, to the point where if he walked into my house, I would have my arms open wide to give him a hug. Because that's the change of heart. That's a change of life I was able to attain just by simply forgiving and having forgiveness in my own life. Oh, I remember all those days I would wake up on a daily basis with hatred and unforgiveness in my mind and heart. It then went into my relationship issues. It then made my family relationships go down the toilet. My relationships I had with my friends and co-workers began to fall by the wayside like you wouldn't believe. I began to lose friendships. I began to lose hope in my own mind. I began to lose hope in my own life. And it became so clear to me one day when my dear friend of mine came up to me and simply put this message straight right into my mind. I still remember that conversation. And he said, "Scott Douglas, you seem to be a very bitter man." Oh, as I was there, I began to cry like a little child. I began to see how my life was really going. I began to see how that unforgiveness began to overrule my life. I began to see how my life was turning into a downward spiral of unforgiveness and hatred and negativity. And I knew I needed a change. But did I want to change then? No, I did not. At that conversation I had with my dear friend of mine, no. We both cried. We embraced each other because I was so inspired that he actually came to me and told me that he could see it in me, and I thought to myself, nobody would ever see nothing within my own life. Oh, I remember he said, "Scott, how about you attend this counseling with me," he told me. And I was very hesitant at first. But I want to say I have never cried that hard in my life attending this counseling, because it helped me like you wouldn't believe. I remember after this conversation with my dear buddy, that word counseling had a whole new meaning to me. And my buddy told me, "Look, if you want to change the way you think, if you want to change your life, you must do something about it. And that's exactly what I did, folks. I attended this counseling. It was only a 4-day course, 13-hour days. But I want to share with you the joy, the authentic love that came out of there for my father was something I have never experienced in my life. And I want to share with any one of you today. If you're dealing with what I went through, you can message me anytime and I will tell you exactly where I went. Because it has helped me to the point I don't even think about my father like I used to. I have love for him in my heart. I have compassion for him. And I have an authentic way with him now that I never had prior to the life I used to live. Oh, today, it's just a beautiful thing. I see a difference in my own life. My family has told me I'm a totally different guy because of that. But I want to share with you, though, how hard it was for me to make that final decision that I needed to attend counseling. That's when this journey all began. I remember, like I said, I was a bit hesitant, but I made her happen. I knew that if I put my all into this, I could be a totally different person. I could think more positive. I could be joyful in my own life and have that peace that I once had as a child. Oh, today, though, when I attended that course, it brought joy and peace in my mind like you wouldn't believe. I have never cried so much in my life like I did then. I remember people sitting beside me. I would embrace them, hug them. That's how much joy and compassion came out of this all. Because I seen within my own life how I was harboring unforgiveness and hatred and allowing it to run my life. Allowing it to make me think that it was normal to think like I was, with all that hatred in there, in my mind. And it began to make me lose my mind almost because of that. I remember at this counseling sessions, there was about 95 of us there. Oh, it was unreal. It was heart-wrenching for me to see. All these years I had lived like that. Because all it was a simple change I had to make in my own way of life. And that new way of life that I had today is something I wish everybody in this world could experience. Oh, as I was there attending the counseling sessions, I had some phenomenal friends there as well. They didn't know me as a person that would cry. Oh, I embraced them and cried because I went down to the bottom line of things. I went to the original bottom line of where this hatred and unforgiveness started back when I was 5 years old. I began to thoroughly look in my life. I went to the initial time when this hatred and unforgiveness started. And it brought me to a time where I was almost fearful. I remember the look on my father's face. He was red with anger. He was throwing things at us, screaming and swearing. And that's when it all began. I remember I just simply put myself into my father's shoes. I asked myself right then and there, when I was looking back when I was 5 years old, at the original time when it all began, I asked myself, what was my father dealing with at that time to make him do what he was doing? Didn't he have something maybe that he was dealing with from his past that he refused to deal with? Maybe he had something going on, which I know he did, and he refused to talk about it. Oh, today the love and compassion and the authentic love I have for my father brings tears to my eyes today, because I hated him for many, many years. The unforgiveness I had for him was crushing my relationship with not only my father, but everyone surrounding me. Oh, through this course, though, went down to the original part of life, went down to where, like I said, where this all began and started, where this hatred and unforgiveness began to become a normal quality of my life. I knew I had to stop it, because it was totally ruling me and overcoming my mind, and I didn't know what to do. But I'm so enthused and inspired today as I finally decided, make that choice. I needed that change. I finished that counseling sessions of 4 days. I remember I drove home. I cried all the way home. Tears were rolling down my face. I pictured in my mind, I had a vision in my mind of my father being on the passenger side of my car. I envisioned in my mind the quality relationship I now have with my father, and the way that I had all that unforgiveness showed up on my behalf, and I was able to leave it all there. I remember it just freely leaving me. And that is something I never knew could happen. It is just so precious to me today, folks. When a person simply wants change, or if they're harboring unforgiveness or hatred, because I know all about it. I understand. It's something, because I've been through it. It is something that can overcome your mind and make you think so brutally negative. It's just pathetic. All the way home, though, like I said, I envisioned in my mind. I actually stopped my car. I pretend my father was sitting there. I put my arms around him and said, Dad, I love you. And all these years I've hated you and had unforgiveness. I opened the passenger side window, and it all went out. I said, please take this all from me. It went out the window, and it has never come back since. Ladies and gentlemen, my dear friends of mine, I just wanted to share this with you today, because I see people at my work. I see people all over life. Whoever I may meet, they say they cannot forgive somebody because of something that had happened in their life. And you know, we're all human. We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. But I totally want to tell you today that life has a whole new meaning. When I simply allowed that unforgiveness and hatred and negative thinking in my own life to go out that window, while I pretended my father was sitting in the passenger seat, I hugged him, and I told him the love I have for him now is the love that I want to show him for the rest of my life. Ladies and gentlemen, love you lots. I'm just inspired today to share this with you. And I want to tell you that life has a whole new meaning. At least for me it did, when I simply allowed a change to happen in my own heart, my mind, and then it went into my life. It is a whole new way of thinking, folks. It is beautiful. Beautiful would be an understatement. That's how amazing it feels. To be able to wake up every day enthused, inspired, motivated, with a determined outlook on life, because of a simple change I knew I had to make in my own life. Bless you all, my friends. Love you all. And have a very blessed weekend. Thanks again for watching.